Good morning, guys. What's going on? How you doing on this Saturday morning? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my live review of last night's edition of Smackdown. This is the June 4th, 2021 edition of Smackdown. It took place, I can't believe I'm saying this, for one more month I'll be saying this. But it took place at the WWE Thunderdome at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. Again, I can't wait to stop saying that because I can't wait for them to get back on the road and get actual fans back. But we're going to talk about this show, and I'm going to also review AEW Dynamite from last night since it took place on Friday, and it will be taking place next Friday night also. Probably due to like the playoffs or something like that on Wednesday nights or whatever heck's going on Wednesday nights for TNT. So that's why it's bouncing around. We'll talk about Dynamite. Overall, this week's episode of SmackDown, it was not quite as good as the past few weeks, in my opinion. I don't know if it's because the main story on the show just, I didn't say it flubbed, like, to me it worked. I guess that I set my expectations a little bit higher for it. I wanted something a little bit more out of it, in my opinion. Everything else wasn't really that special to me. This was kind of like a not a snooze fest, but it was a little bit of a skippable episode of SmackDown. You really only needed to watch just one thing, and that was the stuff going on with the Usos, the Mysterios, and Roman Reigns. Really the only thing that really caught my attention on this show last night. So I don't have too much to say about it, but unlike Raw and NXT this week, which, again, I didn't watch Raw, I didn't pay the best attention to NXT, I feel like I have like a little bit more to say about it, so I'm actually going to grade this show and review it. So let's get rolling here, because I do have this and another review to do, and then I'm going to the Pirate game later on today, and my sister's in town for the day after her friend's bridal shower. If she has time, we're going to play some Switch. Nice. Okay, anyways, but hope you guys are all doing well, staying healthy, staying strong, and we're going to roll. Also, I forgot to mention this the other day. As of Wednesday, I'm considered fully vaccinated. So, I'm on the floor, but yep, that's right, I'm fully vaccinated now, guys, which also is pretty cool too. Of course, you know, if I'm around people that want me to wear masks, I'll wear a mask. But if I don't have to, I ain't going to. But anyways, let's roll into this review and not get, you know, the pandemic involved in this. Let's talk about the show. The show opened up before we had the tag title match with the Mysterios and the Usos, which sounds like a good match. And credit's due, they were both good matches that we had in the show. But Roman comes out sharing that he was not happy last week, but he has changed his mind over the Usos challenging for the SmackDown tag titles. Of course, you know, Jey Uso is still, you know, showing loyalty to Roman, but he's also still trying to show loyalty to his brother, who isn't really acknowledging Roman how he wants to be acknowledged. He can tell that Jimmy Uso isn't quite on his side, of course. But he tells them, though, that they must win. And not only do they need to win, they need to be acknowledged. And even when the Usos came out, you know, Jay acknowledged him as his tribal chief. Jimmy's like, I thought I already did back at Hell in a Cell when I quit because you when we quit basically because you were choking me out basically. So again, there's still that tension right there, but I like how it's on a good balance of like, okay, you know, Jimmy's obviously, you know, still not, you know, siding with Roman. But it's like there's room there to show that there's still a possibility he could change his mind. Even though the main, you know, person stuck in the middle of this right now is definitely Jey Uso. Which is why I have the predicted match on my Hell in a Cell card predictions that I have, which I'll talk about that at the end of the show. Jimmy says tonight, though, is not about acknowledging Roman, but rather than making the family proud. And then they immediately had the tag match. And it was a good match. I mean, definitely not as good as the Usos and the Street Profits. Again, that match was fire last week. Very good match. Like I said, I'm sure at some point over the summer, the Usos are going to win the tag titles. I don't know if it's going to have that Money in the Bank or when's it going to happen, especially after this week. But again, SummerSlam, Usos and Street Profits for the tag titles. Again, that is a money-making, hot-ass pay-per-view match. They already put up gold on live TV. Again, I know they can put on an excellent match on pay-per-view. Like, I don't know what my plans yet are for SummerSlam yet. Probably at Dan's. But if I had the chance to do live reactions, that would definitely be a match to do live reactions for. Again, that match is going to be awesome if it happens on pay-per-view. I hope it does. It should. They had the match, but then, again, it was a great match, but the match ended with Dominic rolling up Jimmy, I believe it was. But the replay showed, though, like, after 2, Jimmy put his arm up, but the referee didn't see that because he was on the other side. So, obviously, the referee made a mistake, even though the Usos still lost, and Roman was still not proud. He goes, well, you lost. You made a mistake. He says, but you need to correct it tonight. And then he says, so get this fixed tonight. Basically saying, go to corporate and get another shot because the referee's messed up. And then he also mistakenly called Jimmy J. I'm sorry, he mistakenly called Jay. He mistaken Jay for Jimmy. Kind of going along the lines of like, hey Jay, where you at? And he basically has implied, because back in that Chronicle episode, or even during the build for Roman and Jay last fall, there was this thing going where it's like, at one point it was like, which one of you, Jay and Jimmy weren't single out for, who they are. It was like, which one are you? Roman's like, do you want to go back to which one are you, and that's all you are? So they had to go fix that. Everything else after that, man, it was what it was. Seth Rollins had an interview with Kayla Braxton about the events from 2 weeks ago, whenever he beat down Cesaro, after he lost to Roman at WrestleMania Backlash, and then also the events of when he beat him down on the Fallout show while Cesaro was in a sling from Seth Rollins' actions. But Seth said he doesn't owe anybody anything, and then he exits the interview early. So, we have that. Like I said, it's still looking like we're again, Rollins and Cesaro, hell in a cell. At this point, though, I'll say this since we're not there yet again. I still think, after the performance he had, of course, at WrestleMania Backlash, it's one thing to already say, I give WWE credit. They did give Cesaro that one-on-one title shot we've been asking for ages, and he definitely knocked out of the ballpark. And they're keeping they're trying to keep his momentum going. I'm giving them credit that, well, I'm going to say I'm going to give them credit, but they could just out of the blue just cut it all off. But I'm giving them credit that they're at least giving him a shot. But personally, if you want the fans to go bonkers when they come back, here's what I would do. So, the rumored main event for SummerSlam this year is Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Which, if it happens, fine. They cut some good promos. If they were cutting good promos back when Roman Reigns was being, the babyface that nobody liked, imagine the promos they could cut with Roman as a heel. They're definitely making Roman the heel against Cena. Roman will most likely win. I still say after that, Cesaro wins Money in the Bank at Money in the Bank, and he cashes in on Roman. I still say they should do that. You want the fans to pop, give Cesaro a brief run with the championship. How much more is that to ask? I mean, it'd be nice to see him have a long reign with it, but again, do it. The story's right there. If Cesaro, if they're looking like they're doing Cesaro and Seth at Hell in a Cell. If Cesaro wins Hell in a Cell and goes on to do nothing, then what was the point? You know what I mean? But We'll see if they do it. But this is probably the only thing that still interests me on SmackDown. Stuff's going on with Seth Rollins and Cesaro. After that, we have Carmella calling herself the most beautiful woman in WWE, but Liv Morgan, who's now on her own because Ruby Riott got released. Liv Morgan just disagrees, and it sets up for a match later on where Carmella then defeated Liv Morgan with the Code of Silence submission, which, credit where credit's due, I love that submission maneuver. Again, I loved it when they first brought Carmella up to the main roster and turned her heel, but then they kind of like veered away from it for a while. But like I said, keep having her use that submission. The match was what it was, though. Afterwards, Greg Hamilton had to acknowledge Carmella as the most beautiful woman in the world. We also have Sonya Deville backstage saying that she and Adam Pearce will take the complaints of the Usos into consideration for the referee's mistake. And then also we have a segment with the Street Profits. We had like 2 segments with the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. I guess first they were taunting, Chad Gable for his Alpha Academy, and Chad just bragged. I think Chad was trying to recruit the Street Profits actually for the Alpha Academy, which gets rejected, of course. And then later, here's a segment that, I was like, if there was more depth in this tag team division, it's like it would be like a good low card story, I guess. But there was a segment also where the Street Profits just confronted Otis by himself. And Otis was like, how dare you disrespect Chad, this, and that, whatnot. And then the Street Profits are basically saying, what has he done for you ever since he became the Alpha Academy? This, and that. And Otis got mad and he attacked him. And it got me thinking, it's like, if you want to actually tell a story from this, it could be like, look what happened to Otis. He got moved over, his girlfriend got moved to Raw, far away, lost her. I mean, I don't know if they ever came cross paths again, if it was like, they'd still acknowledge him as an on-screen couple. I don't know. And of course, his tag team partner turned on him. That was like he turned on him, go to separate shows, and that was it. And of course, Tucker got released after that. But it's like, they get to a story where Otis is confused. He's he feels like Chad was the only friend he could get. He felt alone. There could be a story to it. My problem, though, is you'd have to split up another tag team. You'd have to split up the Alpha Academy because there's literally no tag teams left. There's no tag teams left. There's no women left on the main roster. There's no women's tag teams at all for those women's tag titles. They had 2, 3 teams between both brands? Yet you have both main roster and NXT women's tag titles, which should not have been the case. I'm sorry, should not have been the case. They should have just put the belts on Dakota and Raquel. That's what they should have done. Instead, it's Natalya and Tamina, and it's like, there's just nothing there with that. But we had those segments throughout the night. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville informed Rey and Dominic they'll defend their tag titles again tonight. Then we had this weird-ass segment with Bianca Belair, who criticizes the actions of Bayley. Basically, that's the fact that Bayley just keeps laughing at her. And, Bianca runs down her accomplishments, which, cool. But then Bayley comes on and starts laughing. It's like, I've been laughing at people like you for the longest time. And then Bianca challenged her to another match at Hell in a Cell. And it ends with, basically, they basically did exactly what they used to do with Matt Hardy. When he was woken Matt Hardy in WWE. They basically had, Bayley start laughing and, a million Bayley laughing faces. It was just so weird. This is obviously just a pushover for you because, again, they literally have nothing for Bianca to work with right now until she gets to a rematch with Sasha, which that should be saved till SummerSlam also, or at Money in the Bank, one of the two. And again, I still say, no, actually, if they don't do it at Hell in a Cell, do it at Money in the Bank, because at Money in the Bank, have the main event the show Iron Woman match. Again, I still think those two are destined for an Iron Woman match. Again, I literally, watching the match at WrestleMania, I don't think it was quite as good as Sasha and Bayley from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, but I had those vibes. And I know people hate, carbon copying or recycling things, but those two need to have an Iron Woman match. It's basically in their destiny for that. But we'll have to get past this one. We have another match with King Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura fight over King Corbin's crown. Corbin wins, takes the crown, but Nakamura takes it back. We're going to have like a match between these two every single week fighting over the crown. And we're probably going to get a pre-show match at Hell in a Cell with the final Cell and who gets the crown. I mean, I wouldn't mind them moving it over to Nakamura for a change. Put on a babyface instead of a heel because, I'm sick of the King Corbin gimmick. But, that I don't care about. So before then, we were getting ready to have the Intercontinental title match with Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens with Commander Aziz banned at ringside. Before the match, though, backstage, Commander Aziz was not banned backstage, so he took out Kevin Owens backstage. He did hit the Nigerian nail though on him, but obviously he had wounded Kevin Owens. That Apollo was able to have a solid match with Owens. But while Owens was wounded also, and he was able to beat Owens clean. I believe he won after hitting a Death Valley driver on him on the apron. Afterwards, Commander Aziz came out to celebrate with Apollo before Sami Zayn came out and hit a haluva kick on Kevin Owens and basically starts telling him that this is karma. So again, they're maybe at Hell in a Cell. I didn't put it on the card. My card predictions maybe at Hell in a Cell. I mean, if it's Money in the Bank, I'd say at Money in the Bank we'll probably get, if Owens and Zayn are both at Money in the Bank, they'll probably be involved in the ladder match. I think they'd be a good choice being the ladder match, but good choices. I'm sorry, but like I said, that blow-off match, I quit. Please, I've been asking for that match since both of these guys came to the main roster back in 2016. I wanted that to be their blow-off match in 2016 at SummerSlam, when the brand split was coming back. Like, they could have had, them both on the same brand. Again, that was a great series of matches. Their match at Battleground in 2016, again, was amazing. But, they were both still on the same brand. Sami Zayn won the rivalry and beat Kevin Owens. Yet Sami Zayn, like a month and a half later, was on the pre-show tag teaming with Neville. And Kevin Owens was becoming Universal Champion. Or he was at least going to be feuding for the Universal Championship if Finn Balor didn't get hurt. But, it's like why have them both on the same brand where basically it was a story of this show isn't big enough for the two of us. Like I said, it should have been an I Quit match. The loser goes to SmackDown. That's what it should have been. This, you can maybe do the same thing, or like I still say, even though with the release date more, I don't know what would happen. And rumors are Sami Zayn's contract expires in September. If Sami's not staying, it could either be one, a way to write him off, or two, based off the story going. Because to me, it's just a storyline like Kevin Owens is trying to beat some sense into Sami Zayn. Like, I'd still say, again, have the I Quit match because Kevin Owens can beat Sami Zayn, and Sami will have no excuses. And it could have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn reunite as a babyface tag team. Like, you want to give, if the Street Profits and Usos feud for the tag titles, and the Usos retain as heels, of course, a fresh babyface tag team could be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I still think they should have given them run the tag titles back when they were heels and giving Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan hell. I still think that should have happened there. Also, but again, I still think there is mileage to both doing an I Quit match where it could be to write Sami off television before he leaves, or if he's staying, I Quit. Storyline wise, Sami got sense beaten to him basically that I lost, blah blah blah, and then him and Kevin Owens make up and they become a babyface tag team. That's what I still think should happen. Whatever happens at Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank. Well, again, if Money in the Bank comes around, put them both in Money in the Bank, and then maybe finish it off at Extreme Rules or something. If you want to wait till SummerSlam, cool. But I feel like, wait, what is July's pay-per-view? No, July. I'm sorry. July is Money in the Bank. So if do the match, I say put them both in Money in the Bank and save that I Quit match for SummerSlam. That's what I'd say we should do. Although I don't know how they're going to drag it out for that long. And then the main event was a second match with Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and the Usos for the tag titles. But this time, though, right when the Mysterio is about to retain, Roman gets involved. Superman punches Dominic. He then takes out Rey Mysterio, throw him over the barricade, and then Roman then just targets Dominic and just goes rampage on him. Beat the ever-living piss out of him while basically telling the Usos, you guys couldn't do your job, now I gotta clean up your mess. And he tested the emotions, not just, of course, Rey Mysterio, but of Jimmy Uso also. Testing to see whether or not testing Jimmy by just viciously beating down like a 24-year-old kid. And it was vicious, and it was. Here's the thing. Here's the only thing, though. I don't know if I would have had the match ended a DQ, though, because it made sense. Roman's like, you can't clean up my mess. I have to clean up your messes. But I don't know, I kind of wanted something a little bit more, like the Usos to lose, and then this happens. Like the DQ kind of like hit it a little bit for me, because I was just like, I don't know if that was the best call. Like I would have rather had something else where it kind of like tease I teased something a little bit more with Jay and Jimmy. To me, it felt like they kind of just like slowed down the process a little bit more. I don't know. I still think it worked, but I feel like something was missing. But I do like that they had Roman target Dominic. And I'll be real, I know they probably would not do it. Because, if they did, they probably want him to see him win the championship, or put up at least a good fight against him, probably. I wouldn't mind seeing a feud with Roman and Dominic. Because I had the vibe of, like, if Dominic needs to... Dominic, of course, had the feud with Seth and kind of had this vibes, but it was just, like... It was... At the time, the feud with Rey and Seth was just really, really getting way too long as it was. But last year, I had the idea of, like, Dominic feuding with someone like Randy Orton or something like that. Like, a heel that literally was, like so good at being a heel that, it would just be, I got hard to watch story of, like, a vicious heel. Really, not saying that Seth Rollins was a vicious heel. It's just, again, the storyline didn't have much mileage left with Dominic and Seth. But like how like a vicious heel basically, really like give the fans like some gut wrench, like ugh, he's doing this to a kid type storyline. I feel like Roman and Dominic can pull that off, but not at Hell in a Cell, at least. What I see happening at Hell in a Cell, and I put it in my car predictions. Again, because even afterwards, after a while, Jimmy was like, that's enough, Oos, not like this, Oos. But Roman's like, you kidding me? And then Jay was like, obviously, stuck in the middle. And then it ends with this nice shot. Tim, I'm sorry, Tim's my future brother-in-law. I just got a text about him. But basically, Jay Uso's in the middle. So he's trying to be loyal to both his brother and his cousin. But Jimmy doesn't want to acknowledge Roman Reigns for what Roman believes he is. So like I still think they're going to do a match with Jimmy and Roman at Hell in a Cell. But the only thing is, again, I don't want it to be a complete duplicate of what happened with Jay and Roman last year. What I think should happen, for something different, keep it a one-on-one match between Roman and Jimmy. Have Jay, though, be the special guest referee. Have Roman really test Jay and have him make the decision. I mean, it's destined for, like, I Quit again like last year, like Hell in a Cell, I Quit. But I feel like, that just be me like repeating it from last year. Like, I want something a little bit different. I thought maybe even like a submission match or something like that, like a knockout match, or like something that really tests, Jey Uso. Like, it's gotta have like the end of an era, Hell in a Cell, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 28. It's got to have that feel to it. That's what I think it should be. But, like I said, it was, like the stuff with them was good last night. I don't know, like I said, I feel like the DQ, though, wasn't quite the right move to go. Like, they should have just had the Usos lose if they wanted to go this route. That's what I would have done. Or, maybe have the Usos win, but then have Jay still not acknowledge Roman. Basically, we won the titles, but it still isn't enough. Who knows? But yeah. And, yeah, that's my, not my story. That's my review of SmackDown. That was a pretty good review. I mean, it was a good show to talk about, even though, like I said, it wasn't as good. I gave it a C+. Like I said, the stuff with the Usos and the Mysterios was good. Again, that DQ finish was not quite what I expected. I felt like it wasn't quite the best move to do, but, it was one of things where I tried, but it wasn't as big of a blow as I thought it'd be. I don't know. The stuff with Cesaro and Seth still interests me. Everything else, I don't know. It was what it was. So I gave it a C+. Live chat. We got Mark. What's up, Mark? It looks like Roman has a night off at Hell in a Cell. Maybe, who knows? Whatever going to happen between Roman and Usos after Roman cost them the match. Like I said, I think that the story still there is, where does Jay's loyalty lie right now? Because Jimmy obviously is not pulling the trigger. Sano's okay, but no grade. Every time Carmella comes out, I wonder where's Mia Yim, because she was supposed to have a feud with her. I didn't know that, but I'm pretty sure, as long as we're not seeing Keith Lee, we're not going to see Mia Yim. But of course, when they bring Mia Yim back, if she does come back, I hope to God they have her be Mia Yim and not Reckoning. Not Reckoning. Because, they obviously can't give Dominic Dijakovic and Dio Madden their real names. They have to be Mason T-Bar. Like, screw that BS. It's just so dumb. Is my stream crapping out? Or should be fine now. But yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I'm still definitely concerned though about Keith Lee though, because this gives me chills with him wanting to keep things private. So I hope everything's okay. But all we're being told is he's not medically cleared to compete. But like I said, I hope to God he's okay, because you just never know anymore. That's what the past year has told me. You just never know. But I'm going to check out, guys, take a quick break, maybe eat some lunch, and do one or two things, then come back up here and I'll review Dynamite from last night. So yeah, guys, that's my review of SmackDown. What are your thoughts on SmackDown for this week? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'll check it out. I'll see you all later. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all shortly for my AEW review. Peace out, everybody.